I'm not stopping. This time I speak with Tim Enwall from Fermyon Technologies, and we are on SpinCube booth, and we talk about serverless as the serverless should looks like. Maybe, maybe not. Enjoy.
Okay, so next interview. Thank you for your time. We are here on the SpinCube booth, and we will talk about it. And if you could tell a few words about first, how is KubeCon for you? Because this is like big event, and
It's great. It has been a breakout show for us because we rely on a standard called WebAssembly, and a great number of companies have started to use WebAssembly, including end users who are really starting to adopt it as a platform. So it's been a good show for us.
all right, that's good. That's good to hear because everyone says that it's cool event and a lot of people are around. So I assume you have also a lot of people interested what you are doing because you have very interesting booth. So let me just show you for a sec. So I will do this, and probably you can see quite interesting equipment there. So yeah, that's the thing. So yes, that's really interesting setup. And so what you do with this whole hardware?
So we are doing serverless as it's supposed to be done. If you think about cloud computing, before there was serverless, developers really were tearing their hair out because I had to pay attention to all this infrastructure. I had to know YAML. And then Amazon and Microsoft came along and sort of destroyed serverless. Right? It's like, okay, yeah, we can let you just do a function, but it doesn't integrate with anything you do operationally. It's going to lock you into all my own tools. Like you can't go integrate somebody else's database, and it's kind of slow, right? Like the cold start times at best are 50 milliseconds, and so I can't really chain things, and it really sort of destroyed the number of things I could do with serverless. And this team came out of Microsoft. It came out of the Kubernetes service at Microsoft, and it saw the problems that customers were having with the container paradigm of cloud computing. Firstly, developers didn't like it. Secondly, from a compute perspective, it was highly inefficient. So 85% of your Kubernetes cluster stays idle. So it's very inefficient. They discovered a magic ingredient called WebAssembly that 5 years ago was brought to the server, and they said, hey, if we reimagine cloud computing with this magic ingredient, WebAssembly, it can sit right alongside containers as this lightweight, portable, ultra-fast technology. So we created actually two. So Fermyon, the company, created two open source projects. SpinCube is one of them, but we start with Spin because Spin is the developer tool. So in 66 seconds, the developer can go from blinking server, blinking cursor to deployed app. The tool creates a WebAssembly binary. Okay, at the beginning, you're going to run it locally, right? Build your functions, run them locally, debug, but then you want to deploy them on the cloud. And so SpinCube is open source that lives in your Kubernetes cluster. So when a request comes in, instead of using the crun runtime class, we've got a custom runtime class and a container shim and an operator that takes that and just spins up your WebAssembly binary, executes it in less than a millisecond cold start time. These are 100 times smaller artifacts than your typical container artifact, right? So ultra small, ultra fast. Write them in almost any language, deploy on almost any CPU. So you get this beautifully freeing serverless experience that doesn't lock you in. You can put it on-prem, you can put it in a hyperscaler, you can put it in a satellite, you can put it in a car, which a Spin app is in those places. And so it's serverless the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that sounds, yes, maybe I shouldn't say that because I am AWS community builder in the serverless area. but it looks like really what you said is really how the serverless should look, exactly, with this minimal time for start, like almost non-existing, because I saw too many times when people try to build like a web app with serverless, and they failed because of the cold start, right?
Right.
Yes, it is better and better with the years, but still it is there. And well, today
and even if it is there, you're then locked into all this infrastructure that you now have no choices with a lot of deployment options.
And even more, you are also locked in with the code because you have to make the code specific for the specific service, right?
Yes.
So, well, vendor lock is not that bad in general, but you should, have pros and cons in your head, right?
Yeah.
So, thank you very much for the explanation. Please try this because this looks like really interesting.
Let me add one more thing.
Yeah, sure, of course.
So this week, what we introduced with Spin and SpinCube is distributed service.
Oh,
So with WebAssembly, a function is basically called a component. And you can build components in different languages. So the developer can build their whole app. So a web app, right? Front end, admin interface, database, back end, all that, right? I can build that all in one app on one GitHub project on my local machine, test it, debug it as one sort of monolithic app, right? But in my config file for an operator, the operator can come along and say, hey, I want the admin components to run on my on-prem cluster that doesn't have a lot of traffic, that's only accessible to the employees. I want my user-facing to run on these 4 edge locations because it's closest to the user. That's where I need performance. So I'm going to take my user components, put them out there on the edge, and then I'm going to take my sort of data heavy, my inferencing heavy, I'm going to run that back at AWS on my cluster, and I get to specify that at config time. So developer's happy, operator is happy, right? And I get to match whatever data service that I want with the component that's best matched for it. So developer just gets to stay in happy land. Operator gets to distribute these things as they want to. So that's what's brand new from Fermyon in the SpinCube projects.
And if you thought right now about how microservices should look and what is GitOps, then you are probably right. That sounds really cool. I have to try it. Is there an option to try it? How the ordinary person can start with SpinCube?
Yeah, start with Spin because that's really the starting point. Just go to Fermyon.com. Click on Spin to get to the quick start. And within 2 or 3 minutes, you've got Spin installed and you've deployed your first Spin app. Then we've got Helm charts for SpinCube. So just grab the Helm chart, install it on your cluster, and then Spin deploy, cluster name, and you're up. You're running.
Okay, so we need to try it. So thank you very much again for your time. It was a pleasure to talk with you, and enjoy the rest of the conference then.
Absolutely.
And thank you again. Thank you.
All right. This one is done. What will be next? You will see soon.